Life without a plan, as Seneca wisely points out, is erratic. Think about it: if we don't have rules, practices, or standards to guide us, we're just winging it, and that's when we start to stumble. Without structure, our days can spiral into chaos, but life becomes more manageable when we set clear black and white rules and hold ourselves to specific standards. Our decisions get more accessible, and our days more purposeful. That's exactly what I want to dive into today, minus 12 Stoic rules for life that can help you find that sense of direction and control. The first Stoic rule is to own the morning. This one hits home for me. I've had mornings where getting out of bed feels like an epic battle, especially when it's dark and cold outside. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, shares a similar struggle. He's lying in bed, warm under the covers, and doesn't want to get up. But then he asks himself, is this what I was put here to do? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? Of course not. We have responsibilities, goals, and potential that we need to fulfill. A Stoic knows that the morning is a gift, and getting up early to embrace it is crucial. One thing I've found incredibly motivating is the Stoic practice of memento mori, remembering that life is fleeting. If you go to bed thinking, this could be my last night, then waking up in the morning feels like a bonus round, an opportunity to do something meaningful. It's like finding extra time you didn't expect, and it excites you to start the day. Winning the morning is about more than just getting up early. It's about not letting yourself get sucked into your phone or distracted by others' demands. Instead, it's about being intentional, spending time journaling, taking a walk, doing deep work, and focusing on the day's most important task. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to concentrate on what's in front of us and to tackle our day like a disciplined Roman soldier. And if we win the morning, we've already secured a good chunk of the day. Win enough days, and you've got a winning life. Another essential Stoic rule for life is to focus on what's within our control. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, nails it when he says that the most basic job of a philosopher is knowing the difference between what's up to us and what's not. We're setting ourselves up for frustration and disappointment if we don't grasp this. Think about it: we all have a limited amount of energy. If we waste that energy worrying about things we can't control, like what others think of us, the actions of others, past events, or even what might happen in the distant future, we're neglecting what we can control: our opinions, our emotions, our actions, and how we respond to what happens around us. This idea of mastering the dichotomy of control, as laid out in the Serenity Prayer, having the courage to change the things we can and the wisdom to accept what we cannot change, is at the heart of Stoicism. I find peace in focusing on what's within my control. I let go of the rest, leaving mistakes, judgments, and anxieties to others. I aim to direct my energy toward what I can influence and do my best in those areas. Another powerful Stoic rule is to be present and avoid suffering from imagined troubles. Anxiety, worry, and fear all stem from focusing on things beyond our control or worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. Seneca puts it perfectly: he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. We often suffer more in our minds than in reality. It's easy to let our minds spiral into worst-case scenarios. We start thinking about one bad thing that could happen, and then what would follow. And before we know it, we've created an entire catastrophic scenario in our heads. The irony: most of these scenarios have yet to materialize. What's worse is that in doing so, we neglect what we can control. The Stoics were realistic. They acknowledged potential challenges, but only to the extent of planning a response. Once they had a plan, they returned to the present moment, asking, what's in my control right now? What can I do about it? They were proactive but not irrational. They refused to torture themselves with unnecessary worry. In my own life, staying present and focusing on what I can do right now keeps me grounded. It's a simple but transformative approach, facing each moment with clarity and intention rather than letting fear and anxiety take the lead. One of the most potent Stoic principles is doing one thing daily. In his letters to his friend Lucilius, Seneca suggests, let's try to acquire one thing every day, something that strengthens us against poverty, death, or any other kind of misfortune. A quote, a story, an idea, an anecdote. It's a simple yet profound practice. Seneca would often say, here's the thing I promised you. You can sense the excitement in his writing as he anticipates what Lucilius would share in return. This approach highlights that the journey to wisdom isn't about grand epiphanies or life-changing breakthroughs. It's about the small, consistent steps we take every day. Philosophy, and particularly Stoicism, is about daily practice. It's about learning something new daily, a single passage, a thought-provoking quote, or an insightful essay. This continuous process of daily learning and reflection is what Stoicism is all about. I've made it a personal rule to seek out one Stoic insight every day. That's actually what led to the creation of Daily Stoic. It's all about making steady progress, one small step at a time. Connected to this is another crucial Stoic rule, which aligns beautifully with the Boy Scouts' motto to do one good turn every day. Stoicism isn't about being self-centered, it's about virtue and doing the right thing. So, how can we incorporate this into our daily lives? Set a rule or intention for yourself to do one helpful thing every day, whether it's a kind gesture, a generous act, or something decent. These actions don't have to be grand gestures, they can be as simple as a smile, a kind word, or helping someone in need. The key is to understand that virtue, especially justice, one of the core Stoic virtues, is a verb, something active. It's not just about being a good person, it's about making the right choices in every situation. Ask yourself, how will I treat this person? What choice will I make? How will I respond to this situation? Instead of asking, what can I get away with? Or what's the bare minimum, try asking, what's the best thing I can do here? Seneca reminds us that every person we meet is an opportunity for kindness. Imagine approaching every encounter with the mindset that this is your chance to do the right thing, to offer something good and kind. It's a simple shift in perspective, but it can profoundly impact how you live each day. Another Stoic rule that resonates deeply with me is best phrased as a question. Marcus Aurelius urged us to ask ourselves in everything we do, say, or think, is this essential? The truth is that much of what occupies our minds and time isn't essential. When we strip away the unnecessary, we gain the double benefit of focusing on what truly matters and doing it better. This rule could be summed up as do only the essential things, get rid of the extraneous. Simplify. I find myself asking, am I doing this because others are? Because it's a habit? Or am I doing it because it truly matters? If it doesn't serve a meaningful purpose, I cut it out. Learning to say no is incredibly empowering. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not interested. No, thank you. It's crucial because every time we say yes to avoid being rude, we're often rude to ourselves, our families, or our other priorities. Saying no to the non-essential frees us to say yes to what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly: if you want more time and tranquility, you have to eliminate the inessential and focus only on what's essential. Imagine, as the Emperor of Rome, how many demands were placed on his time. Without discipline and the ability to say no, he would never have been able to focus on what was truly important. Another intriguing Stoic rule is to speak with the dead at first. This might sound confusing, but bear with me. When Zeno was young, he visited the oracle at Delphi, who told him, "You will become wise when you begin to have conversations with the dead." For years, this prophecy puzzled him until one day, after losing everything, he found himself in a bookstore. There, he heard someone reading a passage from Socrates, and it clicked. Reading is a way to converse with the great minds of the past. That's what philosophy is all about. This is why the Western canon is often called the Great Conversation. What I'm saying here is simple: read every day, not the news, social media, or even the comments on this video just read. Immerse yourself in the works of great thinkers, as Seneca advised. Dive into the classic texts. This is where you can find that one thing a day that enriches your life. Take time to disconnect from screens, find a quiet space, and let yourself be transported into the minds of Socrates, Zeno, Seneca, Lincoln, or Shakespeare. Engage with their thoughts and be inspired by figures like Cato or Portia. As Seneca beautifully put it, books allow us to bring the wisdom of the past into our present. This should be a non-negotiable rule in a Stoic life. Another powerful Stoic rule is this: be tough on yourself but tolerant of others. At first glance, you might think that Stoicism emphasizes discipline and encourages being hard on everyone around you. But that's not the case. Stoicism is about self-discipline. not judging others harshly. This is why Marcus Aurelius reminds us, be tolerant with others, strict with yourself. He understood he could hold himself to high standards because that was within his control. But could he impose those same standards on his troublesome stepbrother, Lucius Verus, his co-emperor? No, because again, it's called self-discipline. The truth is that other people are going to make mistakes. They may be less educated than you or have had different opportunities. They may not understand Stoicism the way you do. So being harsh or judgmental toward them is not just unproductive, it's missing the point. Marcus Aurelius also teaches us that we're all meant to work together. We can't blame others for their shortcomings or let their low standards or problems pull us down. But that doesn't mean we either write them off or exclude them. Yes, boundaries are essential, and you should maintain your standards. But it would help if you also were forgiving and tolerant of others. Think about how kind you are to yourself when you mess up. You should understand your reasons, give yourself the benefit of the doubt, and move on. Now, imagine extending that same courtesy to others. Please find a way to see their hope and understand and empathize with their situation. By doing this, you practice compassion, not just towards yourself, but towards everyone you encounter. Another critical Stoic rule is to make beautiful choices. Epictetus famously said, "If you want to be beautiful, make beautiful choices." This wisdom comes from his teacher, Musonius Rufus, who emphasized that if you chase after pleasure, the pleasure is fleeting, but the shame lingers. On the other hand, when you do something difficult in pursuit of virtue, when you push yourself, show discipline, and choose the more challenging path, the work may be tough, but the pride and satisfaction remain. So as we navigate our daily lives, we're constantly faced with choices. Are we making the hard but right choices? Are we making a beautiful choice? The famous choice of Hercules at the founding of Stoicism illustrates this perfectly. Hercules faced a crossroads where he had to choose between virtue and vice, the easy or hard way. He became the hero we know because he chose the more complex, virtuous path. Every day, we have similar decisions to make. Will you get up when your alarm goes off or hit the snooze button and roll over? Will you choose kindness over harshness? Will you go for that run or stay on the couch? In each of these moments, ask yourself, is this choice beautiful? Are you choosing to be forgiving and understanding, or are you leaning towards being strict, harsh, and unfair? By consistently making beautiful choices, we become beautiful in character. Another great Stoic rule is to listen more than you speak. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, pointed out, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason." Many Stoic sayings echo this wisdom. It's better to trip with your feet than with your tongue. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this better left unsaid? The discipline to stay quiet when needed is a powerful skill. There's a story about an ancient Spartan who, at a dinner, remained silent while everyone else was talking. Finally, someone asked him, "Why haven't you spoken?" "Are you stupid?" he replied. "If I were stupid, I wouldn't have been able to stay quiet this whole time." The point is that we're here to learn and absorb knowledge, not just talk. One of the principles in the 48 Laws of Power is always to say less than necessary. We often regret what we say far more than what we don't. So focus on putting your ego aside. Resist the urge to prove your smartness or fill awkward silences. Instead, listen. Be willing to hear and absorb. That's how we find those crucial lessons daily. If we're always talking, we miss out on what the world has to teach us. A true Stoic cultivates humility, openness, and awareness. These qualities are essential to living a Stoic life. The most crucial Stoic rule to live by is the belief that everything is an opportunity to turn every obstacle into a stepping stone. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He reminds us that no matter what life throws at us, we always have the power to adapt, adjust, and move forward. Now, not only some situations will lead to more success or wealth. Instead, it's about seizing every moment as a chance to practice virtue. Even in the most challenging circumstances, we can make beautiful choices. Think about it: when someone hurts you, it's not what you wanted, but it's a chance for you to choose forgiveness. Or, if you faced discrimination or been held back, you can decide to persevere, to push through, and not let bitterness or anger consume you. Instead, you can make the virtuous choice to rise above it. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. We decide how to interpret and use the situations life presents. It's like adding fuel to a fire. Whatever you throw in only strengthens the fire. In the same way, the challenges and difficulties we face can make us better, stronger, and more resilient. Being a Stoic isn't passive or resigned, it's about being active and engaged with life. When we encounter obstacles, we find ways to use them to our advantage instead of being defeated. By making beautiful choices, doing good in the world, and staying present, we can turn every situation into something that benefits us and those around us. You are watching the video on the channel The Stoic Legends. If you like this video, please leave a like, a comment if you learned something useful from our video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Legends channel to build our Stoic community better. Thank you very much. The final and perhaps most profound Stoic rule revolves around the concept of memento mori, the reminder of our mortality. The Stoics say you don't die just once at the end of your life, you're dying every day, every minute. Time is constantly slipping away. Once it's gone forever. This is why being present is so crucial. We can't afford to dwell on the past or worry excessively about the future, because the only thing we truly have is the present moment. Marcus Aurelius put it succinctly: you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. This Stoic rule is all about treating every moment as if it's your last. Don't dismiss what's in front of you, thinking you'll have another chance later. Don't convince yourself you'll get around to it tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. As each day ends, reflect and be able to say, hey, that was it. I lived fully today. This perspective encourages us to live with intention, purpose, and urgency, making every action count. In doing so, we lead a life of fulfillment, dignity, and peace, knowing we've made the most of the time we were given. When we wake up in the morning, if we're fortunate enough to see another day, there's this rush of excitement. We're ready to embrace the dawn and eager to dive into the day. It's like we've been given a second chance, a bonus round in life. Think of it as playing with house money. We've got this unexpected gift of time, so why not make the most of it? Let's use this opportunity to make beautiful choices, the kind of decisions that align with our best selves. Marcus Aurelius talked about becoming the person that philosophy encourages us to be. And these rules, they're here to guide us, help us reach our potential, and do what we can uniquely do. So every morning, rise to live fully and be your best version. These rules are like a roadmap, steering you toward becoming the person you're meant to be. It's your time, make it count.